My friend Rachel Haywire is doing these online salons where she has kind of like creative people or sometimes tech people come on and give a little presentation. And
Cool.
it's kind of like a big, cool event in that like it goes on for hours and there are a lot of speakers and like music happens. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
thing. Anyway, she had me on this week.
Mm-hmm.
And so I put together this presentation and it's specifically for her. But since I just have my brain full of like this talk, I thought that I would pitch it to you and then we could have a little conversation about it because we
Pitch
didn't
me,
have too much of
baby.
a conversation on the thing that I was on. But yeah, shout out to Rachel Haywire. She's been on the podcast here and she does a lot of cool stuff. So her Substack is the Cultural Futurist, which interestingly enough was a Gmail that I a long time ago like acquired. So I feel associated with that branding.
Did
But
you've gotta wait him, bide your time. Hold it
yeah,
like a
yeah.
precious like
I'll
a
sell it.
yeah.
This is my business scheme. Yeah. But okay, so this is called network states for the creative class. Are you
Okay.
familiar with the concept of network states?
No.
Okay, so yeah, this is kind of like the fun thing to talk about here.
Mm.
We've almost kind of talked about this a little bit in the past, but there's this idea that, like to form a state, like a nation, you typically start with like a plot of land and then you say like, hey, dude, this is my land. And then like you fight for it. And there you go. You have a new state.
Sure.
There are some like new concepts coming out about like how states are formed. One is seasteading. So people are going out into the ocean to like start they're
True.
based in Oakland, I believe. So I know you're familiar with these people.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the idea that like we'll eventually colonize space, and so people are talking about like having new societies, new states out in space. Interesting conversations. The other and newer version of this is the network state, which is something that doesn't start with a physical place but starts with a digital place,
Mm.
and then it eventually like acquires land to associate itself with like a real physical location. But yeah, so like it starts out with a group of people just having a community online, and
Mm-hmm.
then through whether it's crowdfunding or some sort of an equivalent of a taxes or something like this, they will eventually acquire properties all over the world, and they will be a network so that like if you belong, you can just like roll up and be like part of the club. And so you might have like little mini societies all over the world that it's one nation, you're part of the whole thing.
Tell me your brain has not just gone wild with the comic implications of giving like any disparate online group a state.
Kevin, I wasn't gonna like
Redditors, anyone? Redditors?
I wasn't gonna like totally jump. Yeah, let's just go ahead and jump in. I saw you rolling your eyes, and that's
This.
great because this is the concept that my very first thought is, oh, scam, right?
Oh, interesting. Oh, I hadn't thought scam, but yeah, absolutely.
What were you going? What were you thinking?
I was thinking of like every socially inept and inappropriate group of people who may decide to form like a microstate. Like immediately I first thought of like angry incel redditors,
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
and like, and have you ever seen the Reddit depression caves?
No.
Oh my God, dude. It's like video gamer incels posting their like pee bottle collection and like their room that's just like they never leave it because they only eat snacks that get delivered and they pee in bottles, and it's like it's
Oh,
just it's
shit.
madness, dude. It's like hoarders. It's
Whoa,
like
okay.
TLC's hoarders, but like way more visceral. And that was a funny one to me. And then I thought of a lot of different. My brain populated itself immediately with an entire United States full of like special interest groups. You know, people who like. Okay, I'm gonna stop myself and like go ahead and let you finish your thought.
Well, my first thought is a scam just because like this is all tied to the
Sure.
crypto community, and
Oh.
like the bigger someone is in crypto and the more legit they are on paper, the bigger scam it is. Like we just saw
Mm,
this whole thing with Sam Bankman-Fried, who was
sure.
like the guy, getting
Right.
all this money, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I don't trust any of these people in the crypto community anymore
Mm-mm.
at all. I mean, like your average dude, like I own a little crypto, your average dude like participating, I don't think that they mean well, but the people at the top, I don't think any of them mean well. Any of them, I don't think.
No,
They
of
know
course
that it's a
not.
scam at some level, and they know that it's kind of like a Ponzi scheme and the whole thing. And they're so leaning harder and harder into it until the moment they disappear with everybody's cash. But that's what this is to me a little bit, because it is tied into crypto. Like that's how you do commerce, is through crypto and this vision. But I also do kind of think like people right now who are very gung-ho about forming their own state, you're right. It's like the weirdos and like, like the state of Jefferson.
Oh yeah.
It's like that, right? People who want to break up California, Idaho, Oregon and form their own like mega red states. Like, oh, God.
I
Okay.
also love the idea. I just love the hubris that people have around like community planning, political infrastructure, like physical infrastructure, services, and stuff like that. I think people love to imagine that this stuff is like, I don't know, not bureaucratically self-organized. It's like all of the structures that we have, they seem kind of simple, but they're so unbelievably complex. And every single part of it has a web of like thousands and thousands of people that do a small part to keep it running. And like, I don't know, I love the idea that states would be like, well, we're going to fucking secede. And I'm like, okay, like state of Jefferson, perfect fucking example where the people in the northern part of the state, cool people up there. There's a lot of interesting people, a lot of very Republican-leaning people, and their big complaint is, well, all of the people are down in the middle and the bottom of the state. They're all Democrats. We're all Republicans up here, so we should have our own state. And I'm like, have fun having Arkansas on top of California. Like your part of the state has no economically meaningful contribution to the state or to the world. And it's a vibe. It's very cool and foresty up there. People grow a lot of weed up there, and there's water up there. But at the end of the day, the economic powerhouse that is Northern California above Sacramento there isn't,
Let me give like one more little note here about
Please.
the network states for the creative class.
Oh God, sorry. I took us totally off that.
It's okay. So I do kind of find it interesting, the idea of creative people having some sort of a community online that could grow and become kind of cool, that does have real world places associated with it. I kind of like this idea. And so like, I'm kind of thinking about this. There's this website, it's archive.net, and they're a distributed museum, like an online virtual museum, and they acquire art. I could see that very naturally having galleries in New York or LA, and then also maybe having artist studios, and maybe there's a cafe associated with it. Maybe there's an apartment or a hotel nearby. Like that sort of thing could expand naturally and not be some like gross thing where some crypto bro is like, yeah, we're starting our own nation. Here's a website. Come join up. Like that to me just seems so scammy. And so I'm just uninspired by that as a vision at all. But yeah, like having like a museum that's virtual and having that expand and grow and have like touching the real world, that seems kind of cool. And I'm kind of like into that. I don't know if they have any vision of expanding to the real world, but like it'd be kind of cool if they did, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think like the idea of cryptocurrency, like philosophically, is like disrupting the monetary system in a way that allows you to have a secondary monetary system that's less related to the central, to the Federal Reserve. I mean, it's obviously not its purpose, but I think it's become a bit of a banner for a lot of people who are like, all right, like maybe I don't want to fully divest in the financial system, but I would like to hedge my bets and have something that has an independent unit and value of measure. And I think that is kind of the most beautiful function of the internet age, is that it's going to collate and connect people in ways that allow them to become more collectively powerful and hopefully physically, because intellectually we already have, these special groups of people that are pushing the boundaries of human knowledge in a way that traditional methods never could have, and are just too slow to kind of pivot as fast as you need to be. I keep thinking of health influencers, where I think like knees over toes guy, where it's like every every textbook you've ever read about strengthening the knee says don't put your knees over your toes. And this guy's whole thing was like, you have to put your knees over your toes, but you just do it slowly and you build strength. And it's true, and it works. And millions of people now have healed their knees because of it, and in a way that the medical establishment probably wouldn't have caught up to for another 30 years.
You and the medical establishment, Devin. How many podcasts have we had?
These guys.
It all comes back to the medical establishment.
Okay.
We know you like YouTube videos about medicine. We know.
Okay, so I'm trying to cure my cancer but I'm I'm on a chestnuts only diet. No, but I think that that is the more beautiful idea of the internet and of communities is that they will unionize themselves into powerful units that actually have buying power, that actually have power to buy land, have power to establish communities, have power to be economically meaningful in the way that corporations are. And that, my friend, could actually balance the scales of power in this country, because we don't have a way to balance the scale of power away from corporate interests. Legally, we've already kind of backed ourselves into a bit of a hole there. I think if we had a particularly socialist president like Bernie Sanders or something, we could kind of do some work about that. But at the end of the day, if people collect themselves into meaningful groups and become economically significant, that actually, that is a very powerful threat to corporate interests in the way that it dominates culture and money in the United States. So I like the idea of network states. A lot of people are going to lose a lot of money. There's so many talented people that are good at getting money from people for ideas like this. So we'll see, maybe some kind of verified platform would make it work in a way that would be difficult to create a Ponzi scheme, but it does just seem a bit ripe for that, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I will say that a lot of the big names of people like this guy Balaji, he was the CTO of
Balaji.
I'm blanking on the details here, but he was associated with Andreessen Horowitz, that sort of a thing. He's I think he actually wrote the book on network states.
Oh, cool.
And he's been promoting this idea. But if you look into what he's involved in, the projects that he's involved in, they're all real world projects. There's a startup community that his name is kind of associated with, and it's someplace in Eastern Europe where there's a plot of land, and they're gonna start a network. Start a community there. But kind of curious how this again is a land-based thing, and you're just trying to get people to kind of sign up, fill out a form online. And I don't know, the New York Times actually profiled the guy who's leading that. He's some young guy who has gotten $30 million given to him to move this project forward. But here's the thing, and maybe it was even 50 million, but that is nothing.
It's not even
nothing. You can't pave a normal road for $50 million. You know what I mean? I don't know. So
you could barely retire on $50 million, dude.
Good luck with that project, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Well, hey, should we? I don't know. Should we be starting our own cryptocurrency? What the hell are we doing?
The Tifu coin.
The Team Futures network state. Buy our coin. Okay.
Buy our coin. Up. Come
the
to our.
First coin costs $10,000.
First point costs $10,000. We'll be building a commune in Ecuador. And
sometime in the distant, hazy future, we will have a commune, and it will be amazing and awesome. But we need to hit our mark first. We need $10 billion before we're going to start. Yeah. So you guys really got to start.
Look, here's my pitch deck. All right. Team Futurism Army.
So when we start with the military?
Faithful. No. Our army of faithful followers.
Oh, okay.
If you fund our passion project, I promise you off-grid cabins in the woods with infrared saunas, cold dips, and Traeger grills. You'll be sleeping all through the night in perfect silence under your natural wool blankets in your beautifully craftsman-built tiny homes, where you'll eat fresh food from the land, and it'll only cost you $10 million.
And we'll have to fight it out with our bare hands as who's the leader of this group, because we can't have two. That's just not allowed. That's not okay.
And you'll pay tickets for the Thunderdome to watch Peter and I do symbolic.
Battle to the death.
We will symbolically battle each year, not unlike Groundhog's Day, in the Thunderdome with giant Q-tips until one of us submits, and until one of us yields. But it will be one of the two of us, and we will be fucking all of your wives.
Sounds like glorious vision. All right. Hey,
right.
let's wrap it up there.